Hi, my name is Sam Knutson. I am a staff reporter here on the Lancerfeed. And as we've been in quarantine for a while, it's important to stay connected to those who you care about the most. Whether that be friends, family, students, it's important to make these connections during these difficult times. I recently talked with some students and staff members of Lafayette High School on how they are staying connected. The first person I talked to was band teacher Brad Baylog.
How have you stayed connected with your students and friends during quarantine? That probably is one of the most challenging things for us to stay connected because we're used to seeing kids every single day, especially with us in music. We spend so much time with the kids inside and outside of class. We've had to manufacture those opportunities for ourselves a little bit more than what just naturally occurs in the classroom setting. And we've been making Kahoots that really are not curricular based, but they're more meant to spur conversation and spur fun. The jazz band, I always read a joke to them on my bad dad joke calendar that I have. And that's how we started class every single day that we have classes during 0 hour. And we have a bad dad joke segment to our Zooms every week. What do skeletons order when they eat at a barbecue restaurant?
Spare ribs?
Yes! All right, next one. What time is it when a hippopotamus sits on your hat?
Time to get a new hat?
Time to get a new hat. Brenna, you're 2 for 2. I see lots of smiles on that one. That looks like maybe a keeper.
Baylog also talked about how he is staying connected to his family.
My family is very family oriented. We do so much stuff with them, and that's been very strange and hard as a family to not be as connected, although we've tried to do other things. Easter, we had a Zoom family get together, and we will swing by each other's house and keep our social distance to say hi. And we do a lot of Zoom calls together and just to check in. I know my daughters are on Zoom calls with their cousins fairly regularly where they just hang out.
Baylog also discussed how he is utilizing Zoom and other technology.
Just recently, we used Zoom to have conducting lessons with our drum major candidates. So we had 8 great candidates that we did conducting lessons over Zoom. So we would give them things to work on, and Mrs. Busher and Mr. Long and I would watch all of them and evaluate them as they were doing it on our computer screens and give everybody one-on-one feedback. Some of our assignments in the high school band have been doing multi-track recording assignments, basically meaning we will have students pick, a trio, and then they use WeVideo or Acapella or some of the iPad apps, and they will record themselves playing all 3 parts, and then they will splice the video into split screen so you see that person playing all 3 parts of the trio. We have the jazz band doing a project for these last 2 weeks. It'll be something we'll be able to keep and take out of this unique situation. We're using technology in a lot of different ways. We have made a lot of changes as we've gone along as to try and be more effective for our students. And if this is something that we will be encountering again, this experience has been good from a standpoint of being able to wrap our brains around what we can do better for our students and what we can do better to not only deliver curriculum to our kids, but also to develop and maintain those relationships with our students, which is the absolute most important part.
I also talked with sophomore Maya Martin.
Connecting with my friends during quarantine has been a little bit different than normal, but we still FaceTime, text, and do all of that stuff. I've done online school in the past where I wasn't actually present at school, and then I've also been in another state training. So I've gone 2 months without seeing my friends, and I've learned to always make connections and kind of keep updated with daily life, because then you can kind of feel isolated if you don't. So that's what I've learned, but I've found it really fun with people that I have the same classes with, we'll do assignments at the same time and kind of, ask each other questions and do them at the same time just so we feel connected. One of the differences is I don't get to see him in person, which I know summer's coming, so eventually I will get to see him, but I miss getting to see people in person. But other than that, not much has really changed with the connection part, and I hope that this quarantine doesn't create a barrier and we actually engage with people more.
Lastly, I talked with language arts teacher Donald Kreinkamp.
Hey, so we've stayed connected with friends and family in 3 different ways that I can think of off the top of my head. The first thing we all did as soon as we started hearing news was download an app called Marco Polo. And that was fun for the first couple of weeks. I don't really use it much anymore, but it kind of gave a fresh spin on connecting. Since then, we've done game nights. There's a website called jackbox.tv. It allows you to purchase games, and some of them have been free. And you can use those to set up through Zoom and share your screen, and everybody can play the same game. We've done that with friends and family, and we wake up the next morning and kind of feel like we hung out with our friends, and it's been positive. We've also used Zoom for family, like on Easter. We set up different devices running Zoom in each of our houses, and me, my 2 brothers, and my parents, we all shared a meal together. We were able to talk and socialize as best we can. And obviously, it's not as much fun as seeing people in person. But don't get too down on yourself. Like, the games are fun sometimes, and sometimes you don't feel like playing a game. There's not a right or wrong way. If you feel like playing a game, play a game. If you don't feel like playing a game, be honest and just kind of say that you're not into it that night. But I think the biggest thing we need to try to do during quarantine socially is give everybody a break, right? And not everybody can be happy and positive every single day. We're probably all experiencing different level of days. And so I think socially, like, that's been an advantage of this time, is I feel like we are all being so much more empathetic and forgiving. We're trying to meet people where they are, and we're so much more understanding of the stress that's going on. And sometimes when it's not quarantine, we're so busy that we don't even stop to worry about what other people are going through. But yeah, so we've established some new routines since being home. Like, my wife has a game night every Thursday night. She gets together with anywhere from 6 to 10, 11 friends, and they talk for a little bit, and then they play a game. And some of them stay on for a long time, and others kind of log off quickly, and it's really whatever you want to do out of the night. I've stayed connecting on Zoom with, friends and, the guys I coach with. We've had meetings where we just kind of talk about basketball, and sometimes it's productive, and sometimes we need to vent a little bit. And Zoom's been great for that because, the access has made it really easy. Sharing a screen is great for sharing ideas. And that's been a real positive, in terms of staying connected. I think one of the biggest challenges staying connected is we obviously have kids, younger kids, and so do my brothers. And, I think adults and probably teenagers are pretty good at understanding, hey, I got to keep my distance. If I touch something that's not mine, I should wash my hands. And that's really easy. But when you involve kids like my nephews and nieces, all range from the age of 1 up into 7, they don't really fully understand what's going on. So I would say the biggest challenge is we've kind of kept the kids all separate during this time. I've gone over to my parents' house and I've helped out. My dad runs his own business. He's written some books, and so I've been trying to teach him Twitter through Zoom. And we've been trying some different things, and it's been good to connect and kind of work together with each other. But it has been challenging not letting the kids get together.
So I hope this gave you some insight on how people are staying connected to friends, family, and students during these hard times. I myself am utilizing Instagram video chats and Zoom to talk with my family and friends. Although things may feel strange right now, I know that we can all get through this together. With that being said, reporting for the Lancer Feed, this is Sam Knutson. Thank you.